Okay, Emmy nominations are out. Our jaws are on the floor, of course. Dan, you can always count on these crazy Emmys. Daniel, take us through some of the big surprising shockaroos.
Well, a couple of the big surprises just right off the bat. Tatiana Maslany getting in for Orphan Black for drama actress. She had been, we'd been expecting her the last couple of years, and she didn't. So I think a lot of us gave up hope this year, and she suddenly popped up. We saw Liev Schreiber in drama actor getting in there. Empire underperformed and only got in for Taraji P. Henson and a couple of costume nominations. And then I think one of the big stories is, which is sort of a little bit under the surface, but it's a big deal, is Modern Family was snubbed for both writing and directing for the first time. And as we noted, those writing and directing categories are really crucial. The last show to win, drama or comedy, to win the top series award without one or the other of those was Friends more than a decade ago. So this might be nail in the coffin time for Modern Family.
Chris, no Big Bang Theory. Talk about fatigue here. Big Bang not in for series, not in for Jim Parsons. What else is on your list of shocks?
Yeah, and on our chat last week, I said, look out, Jim Parsons. Sometimes after you get so many victories, they just drop you. They're like, we can't take this anymore. Juliana Margulies won last year, not in.
That happened to her before, though, right? She was nominated. That happened to her once before. She wasn't nominated, then she won. Then she wasn't nominated, then she won.
Yeah, a couple of years ago that happened to her. The person I thought the Emmys would end, and this person would still be nominated, and that was Dame Maggie Smith, and she's not nominated.
There's just something funny about that. I don't know.
I thought she would be dead around 10 years and still be nominated. Just weird things. I mean, you would think, okay, a show jumps back into drama series like Homeland after being snubbed last year, yet they drop Mandy Patinkin. Just weird combinations like that are unusual. The Americans finally makes it in, but not in acting, not in drama series, but for writing. So that one was kind of interesting. The Affair, so well at the Golden Globes a few months ago, but hardly anything. I didn't notice anything. Justified, final season. I thought maybe that the Acclaim would bring it back with a couple of nominations, but it didn't really get it anywhere. We're going to have probably the most new winners we've seen in a long, long time. Part of that's because Breaking Bad is gone, and it took 3 acting categories last year, plus drama series. But then you take out Juliana, you take out Jim Parsons, you take out a Joe Morton who was moving into supporting. He's not nominated. So it's going to be a lot of new winners this year.
This means that Veep could actually take down Modern Family. Of course, it was nominated for directing, and what we've observed in the past is that, of course, these are crucial, as Daniel says, in the past, but we've also noted that every year Veep has increased its number of nominations more and more and more. Now it's finally got the directing nomination at a time when Modern Family does not. Keep in mind, Modern Family is going for that record 6th win in a row here. We may finally see a sea change in that category. And over on the drama side, Game of Thrones leads all shows today with 24 nominations. Now, they often have the most drama series nominations, but now they're towering over everyone else. The show's got great momentum, of course. Mad Men did well. It came back into the race, and John Hamm is in there, of course, in terms of what could take it down. Big surprise, as Chris mentioned, that Better Call Saul got in. We knew that the star would, Bob, but we didn't know. None of us, I think, were betting on the actual show to get in. But House of Cards is still a possibility to win here. But Game of Thrones, Daniel, I want you to address this. You're a Throney. That could be the breakthrough winner for series, right? It could happen.
Oh yeah, it definitely could happen. I'm not sure the nominations number is necessarily the thing that gets it for it, even though it's been going up every year, and that's certainly good news for the show. But it has all those key nominations. It got Emilia Clarke back into supporting actress. It got writing and directing. I think it might have even gained in directing. Drama series. It's everywhere it needs to be. So I'd say it's looking about as strong as it ever has for that drama series award.
These streaming services are the big new rivals, of course, on the media scene here in Hollywood. Netflix got nominations for Orange is the New Black, for House of Cards, and for my favorite show, Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt. But poor Ellie Kemper, its star, was not nominated. Once again, very illogical, but that's showbiz, baby. Hang in there, Ellie. You'll be back. And over on the Amazon side, the rival streaming service, Transparent not only got in, and Jeffrey Tambor, but Chris, Transparent got, what, like 10 or so nominations? It did really, really well.
It's the leader among comedy series. It got 11.
Wow.
Next closest among comedy is Veep with 9. I think that's your race. I think it's Transparent versus Veep. Both overperformed in certain areas. Transparent, we talked about this on the phone last week, Tom. It may ride, I mean, this is the year of transgender. I mean, so many stories, it may ride one of those waves. And the other thing about Transparent here is it got a couple of nominations I don't think anybody was expecting, and also one that we were expecting, which means people were watching. And they're not going to just be relying on watching those episodes that come up, with the viewing later on in August, the voters I'm talking about. But somebody like Gabby Hoffman getting in and Judith Light not, I think most viewers would say, regular viewers would say that's probably the right choice. But that's the way they went here, and that is exactly the kind of thing that you look for when you're trying to figure out who's going to win that race. I think Transparent may be the one to win here, and not Veep.
I was a strong advocate to Amazon to send the full season of Transparent to the full Academy members, as were their official consultants, Murray Weissman and Rick Markovitz. And they prevailed. And what was interesting about what was going on behind the scenes in this race is that Amazon sent the full season of Transparent, all episodes, around mid-May, and they sent them on DVD. So think about that, 17,000 members of the Academy getting this streaming service show via old media, DVD. But of course we know that the old geezers in the Academy will watch the DVDs, and that's what's the big drama looming over Phase 2 of Emmy voting now that everything is going streaming and they're not choosing winners based on DVDs. How will that play out? And we've done many chats about that, and we'll continue to talk. We don't know the answer. It could affect everything dramatically here. But I think it's the dependence on old media of DVDs has paid off brilliantly for Transparent here. In what you're talking about, Chris, these nominations, these small, subtle nominations that are very telling, that revealing to us that they've actually watched this show. It can win. You're right, and I think my money would be on Veep at this point, but Transparent could do it. Daniel, just because people care about Gold Derby, because they care about who's going to win. What's going to win drama series? What is now ahead? And take us through the top 6 races or so. What's now ahead?
Well, looking at the drama series nominations, I mean, Mad Men came back a little bit. Last year, I think it had an all-time low of 8 nominations. This year, it's back up to 11. It got Elizabeth Moss back in. That shows that there's a bit of a hike for that show in terms of popularity. It got everyone in who we'd expect. It got into writing for the finale and for another episode. It didn't get into directing, so I wouldn't say it's stronger than it necessarily, strong enough to say that it's definitely going to win. I think it did everything it needed to do to potentially justify a win, but Game of Thrones did even better than that. House of Cards, I think. I can't remember how Cards got into writing and directing. If it didn't, it's probably out. Looking right now, does not look like House of Cards got into writing or directing, so that's probably between Thrones and Mad Men at this point.
And let me say on Game of Thrones, you mentioned nominations. Going to 24 nominations from 19 in a 5th season is not a small feat. No show's had 24. Let's see, the closest because I did a story the other day. I'm working on something. The closest to even in the 20s in the last 4 years was Mildred Pierce with 21. That was 4 years ago. So 24 nominations. And speaking of that number 24, remember the show 24 won for its 5th season for drama series. Another show that's not your typical drama series kind of winner, which Game of Thrones would be totally different than most of the drama series winners, which are generally, either political or law shows or medical, things like that. I think Game of Thrones is way out front, not just a little out front.
Wow, that's fascinating. What else, Chris? Who else is ahead here? And by the way, Ralph Galvan and Matt Noble, I'm about to send you your link to come in. Just click on it anytime you get it and join us. Ralph is at the scene of the Emmy nominations. Go ahead, Chris.
I'm not sure on drama actor. I do find it funny that John Hamm is sort of the sentimental favorite, and who should come into the category but the guy that beat him, Kyle Chandler, in the Suitcase year. John Hamm's worst nightmare was that Kyle Chandler would come back. And on drama actress, I really have thought it was a race between Viola and Taraji, a historic type win potentially. But with Taraji's show, I kind of had her a little bit out front because I thought it would get into drama series. But with it way underperforming, I think Viola being more of the, I know they both had Oscar nominations, but Viola I think is more respected. I think there may be a real push to give Viola Davis the win there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And Viola Davis also has the benefit of, she has much more the Emmy-friendly kind of role. This high-powered attorney giving these speeches, in court, where Taraji P. Henson is much more over the top, much more soapy. And if they were going to embrace that sort of thing, they would have done a lot more for the show, like drama series, and no songwriting nominations even for Empire. So that's kind of telling.
Wow. I went back and looked at the 1980s and 1990s Emmy lists to see how the other famous soaps did, like Dynasty and Dallas, and they all got nominated in the top categories, including for series, and Larry Hagman, even the men were nominated, and John Forsythe for Dynasty, and of course Joan Collins, all of them were nominated. The only win for a primetime soap historically was for Barbara Bel Geddes as Miss Ellie in Dallas in 1980, and she played a very respectable, serious role. So otherwise, these trashy roles don't win. Hey, there's Matt joining us from Down Under, mate. How are you? Matt, you're on now live. So can you hear me, Matt? Of course, Joan Collins.
He's having trouble.
Okay. So Matt, when you hear us, are you plugged in now?
Yes.
Okay. So far away. What's your instant analysis of what we just saw?
An instant analysis would be that great night for Veep and Transparent, really strong night for Game of Thrones, and Modern Family looks in trouble.
Modern Family's in big trouble. Yeah, no nominations for writing and directing. Ralph Galvan joining us now. Ralph, were you at the scene this morning, or where are you now?
Yeah, I was at the scene, and I just got back a little bit ago. It was a crazy one. A lot of gas, a lot of everybody talking right after. A lot of the buzz in the press room was about Juliana Margulies not getting in and Big Bang Theory getting snubbed, and then 8 nominations in the supporting actress category, comedy. So a lot of, and Tatiana Maslany, of course. That finally happened. That was a big one. I don't know if you heard my screams there, but that was it.
I imagined you dancing a jig this minute you heard that news. So Ralph was at the scene at the Emmy nominations this morning, which were held at the Pacific Design Center instead of the Emmys auditorium where they're usually held. The Emmys are undergoing physical renovation now. They've torn down the old theater there where they normally do the nominations, and they're building a new one. So what's been fun to watch on the ground here in Hollywood is the dispersal that's had to happen as a result of that. All the Q&As, screenings that the TV series normally do at the Academy all had to be done elsewhere, and booking spaces became a death match between the networks and because there aren't that many prime places that you can grab and during the exact choice times that you want. So it's been pretty hilarious to see the length some of these contenders will go to get the right stage time in front of Emmy nominees. And by the way, what you do if you're a contender, let me finish this thought, it's fascinating actually. Let's say you want to do a Q&A and get in front of the Emmy voters in a room. You're on stage, you show some clips from your show, and then you talk with the audience. The room sizes are generally anywhere from 300 to 500 seats. and you pay the Academy $3,000, and they will do 2 email blasts basically to the Academy members, telling them about your event, and I believe 1 postcard for that $3,000, and then you have to get the space approved and the rest of it, and you have to adhere to certain logo requirements and the rest of it on the invitations. And then the average screening room costs anywhere between $7,000 to $10,000 for the event, plus parking, plus you generally throw some food reception afterwards. So the minimum cost by the time you're all done with this is about $25,000 to reach about 300 Emmy voters. And not everyone in the audience is an Emmy voter, but they all do these things for all of their shows. It's very expensive, and the Academy sat about 600 people. The new facility will sit probably 1,000. I don't know what the new seat size is. Anyway, back to you, Matt. So give us some more observations.
And I'm going to just say, Daniel and I are going to exit out because we got tons of stuff to write and do. But be watching in just a little while. Not too long, we'll have the results from the prediction contest. I'll be generating those very soon. And then later today, not too long from now, we'll have the Emmy Awards predictions website up and running, so you can start making your predictions today.
Excellent. That's great. And I have to exit here soon to go join Nancy O'Dell and Kevin Frazier on the set of Entertainment Tonight to give Gold Derby's reaction. But we're going to keep going here in the meantime. So, Matt, back to you. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
Well, it's going to be an interesting year of farewells, and I got sent to me a statement from Julia Louis-Dreyfus on her reaction for getting back into the race, and she said, "As president, my staff and I are too busy doing the people's business to watch television. Nevertheless, we are thrilled to be part of this celebration of creativity." And then in parentheses, "Go John Hamm." So it just shows that it's not like John Hamm's been on Veep at all or anything like that, but the sympathy and support for him this year is very strong.
Yeah, the man has lost 7 times as Don Draper on Mad Men. He's lost 3 times in the guest category for 30 Rock. He competes in both of those categories again this year, plus a nomination for Best Producer. In the early days of Mad Men, he was not a producer. Now he is, so he could potentially win 3 Emmys this year, right, Ralph? Whoops, we lost Ralph. His screen has frozen up. All right, keep going.
Yeah, well, yeah, he could, and just it speaks volumes, I think, that a comedy lead actress contender is giving him a shout out in her reaction to nominees when he's just the star of a drama series. There's really very little reason for it to. There seems to be people wanting to get that awareness out there that he hasn't won before. And look, I think especially with a popular vote this year, or a more popular vote for the awards, it's going to help John Hamm a lot.
Right, and remember his personal issues this year. He revealed his struggle with substance abuse. He went into rehab right before the shutting down and the farewell for Mad Men's final season. He emerged from that, did the red carpets, didn't hide from anybody, tried to ask people not to talk about that. It's a private issue, and then he was there for the finale event downtown. To say goodbye. So he's been a full participant, even though he's been struggling with personal issues, and I think people really feel for him and respect him for doing that. So, Ralph, you're back now. Keep going. Your screen was frozen there for a while. Go ahead. More reactions from you, Ralph.
I will. Going off of what you guys just said with the Mad Men stuff, I was shocked how much love it actually did receive. I mean, I expected last year got 8 nominations, and I expected probably about the same this year. But then you throw in Elizabeth Moss in the drama lead actress category, and it picked up an extra writing nomination up to 11. I think, Tom, you said earlier about a month ago that Mad Men may be the one to beat, and I think you're right with all of this these nominations it got. And then Modern Family only getting 6 nominations, not getting a writing or directing, and Transparent being so strong in there. And American Horror Story again going up from what it was before, and Game of Thrones at the leading at 24 nominations, which is crazy. There's just so much nice surprises here too with like I said, Tatiana Maslany, not to beat it again. But what I was also shocked about, which I don't know if you guys have touched on yet, but was Empire. It didn't show up any. I mean, it got 3 nominations total. we were thinking drama series, potentially drama actor. I mean, Taraji P. Henson got in, but other than that, it got, what, costume and then another technical nomination?
And no music nominations, even not even that. And shocking, just really shocking. And you know, it's not like it's an African American color issue and stuff, because we're all conscious of that this year, right? Look, Don Cheadle got in, as it was kind of a surprise. He's been in there in the past. Anthony Anderson got in for Blackish. And of course, we have, I think, a record year for African Americans across the board at the Emmys. We haven't counted them up yet, and it's difficult to say African American because, for example, David Oyelowo is British. He's not African. So you've got to be careful in your cultural classifications. But I believe it's a record year for people of color, and specifically, you see lots of that in the movie mini categories, etc. And I think on one hand, it's a reflection of how much better television is doing to recognize alternative. The non-white world, shall we say, reality, and the Emmys are reflecting that. But I think the Emmys deserve some credit too in being a little more aware as well.
Yeah, and I think it like is a testament more so maybe to anything else than just how hard it is for a network show or a network drama to seem cool. Like it just like in a sea of premium cable, basic cable, and online streaming shows, you can even have a show like Empire that just blows up, and it's struggling to get into that Emmy race because I think it doesn't have the prestige. It seems a bit more like a soap opera than all those cable shows.
Who's going to win? So you're going to bet on Mad Men for drama series, Ralph? Take us through your front runners the way you see it now.
Well, I was thinking I still think Game of Thrones is gonna win. It's with the popular, it's more popular than ever. It had an outstanding season. But this Mad Men love, and that's what you heard, or at least what I heard when I was in the press room, is all the press people were saying, I love Mad Men, it's my favorite show of the year. They were cheering when each Mad Men nomination came out. So, I mean, it's got a shot, not that they really have any say in it, but it's got a shot. And but I'm still sticking with Game of Thrones. I was thinking Orange is the New Black would be a stronger presence, but I mean, last year it had 12 nominations in the comedy side, and this year it only has 4 in the drama side. So I think, it's not going to resonate as powerful as I thought it would on that drama side. I think it has a better chance of winning some of these major awards, but I think drama series is out of the picture now. But that's why I have I'm sticking with Game of Thrones in drama series.
How many does somebody know how many nominations Game of Thrones had last year? It had 24 now.
Yeah, it had 19 nominations last year, and this year it has 24.
Gotcha.
Look, I think the 2 supporting actress nominees and the 2 directing slots for this show, Game of Thrones, really makes it it puts it out in front. The fact that it was able to pick up 2 nominations in those competitive categories shows there's a lot of, there's some deep love for the show this year in the writer in those branches.
Wow.
Yeah. So, Ralph, last week you accused me of wearing Veep goggles by saying it could win. Where does it stand in your mind now?
I still think you have Veep goggles.
Admit it, baby, you were wrong.
Wrong? I wasn't wrong about anything. I told him he has Veep goggles. I don't think it was as great this season as it was last season. I was being honest, and I don't think Julia Louis-Dreyfus was as strong this season as she was last season.
Since when does that have anything to do with anything at the Emmys? What the hell are you? Who cares? They vote for shit watching it all the time.
I think they'll still go no matter exactly. So who cares? So I think they're still going to go probably for Modern Family even without that writing or directing nomination, just because it's.
Oh come on, you're insane.
It has to get the numbers. It has to break that record at number 6. No? What else would do it? What in the comedy side would do it?
Veep or transparent. See, what Matt is accusing you of now is going through Veep denial, and we are all now witnesses to the fact that Matt is right, and you're guilty as charged. You're just letting your personal bias against the show you don't like. By the way, you're wrong. There were some episodes that were not as great, but that finale, come on, Matt, that finale episode of Veep was one of the greatest ever, right?
The finale is very good. It's got a good shot of winning writing this year, and boy, without Modern Family getting that that Apple Mac ad nominated in the directing category, their testimony episode is going to be very, very strong to take out that directing trophy. So
Connection Lost. That was a shock that it didn't get in anywhere. I mean, that was what everybody was championing. Actually, Tom, I take it back. I think Silicon Valley is probably going to win this year now.
How insane is that?
It was the best comedy on HBO by far.
Oh,
do you still honestly think, Ralph, that Silicon Valley has a better shot than Veep?
That's insane. Oh, you're insane.
You're
fired from Gold Derby right now.
0 acting nominations to 3. Like,
yeah, and also it's about young nerds and stuff. Look, all the young guy shows have underperformed historically at the Emmys, whether it was Entourage or look at Big Bang Theory right now, just getting tossed out across the board here. It's the old guys in the Academy are not only not watching these shows, but even if they are, they feel threatened. But that's their number one enemy in their minds are the young guys of Hollywood. They're not going to give them Best Comedy Series. I don't care how good the show is.
Come on, Marcus, help me out here. How good was Silicon Valley this year?
I liked it, but I'm not a voter. I mean, I don't know if it can win.
Yes, you do. You know it can't win. Just tell Ralph that so we can move on, please.
Ralph, we should talk. Last night we were texting. Didn't we say we should take out Jim Parsons? We were this close.
Yeah, we did.
We would look so smart if we did.
So, Marcus, drama series, what's going to win now that we have got this startling lineup? Can Game of Thrones do it?
Oh yeah, I've been saying Game of Thrones for a while now, and I think it was a year ago today, whenever nominations came out, when I said absolutely Breaking Bad is winning, no question. It's the same with Game of Thrones.
That was a daring choice last year.
Yeah, you guys fought me on it too. I couldn't believe it, but no, it's going to be Game of Thrones.
In its final year, we said that Breaking Bad wasn't going to win. Come on.
Oh yeah, go back and watch it. You guys were fighting me on it. It was crazy. But yeah, it's Game of Thrones, no question.
Oh, no question. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
Even though it's Ralph's reporting all this cheering from Mad Men among media at the press conference this morning. Okay. All right. So what wins comedy series, Marcus?
Wow, it could be transparent. They got a lot of stuff we didn't see coming. What about Judith Light not getting in? Instead, Gabby Hoffman. Gabby Hoffman got 2 nominations.
Take us through your other list of observations, Marcus. What jumps out at you?
I'm so happy about Will Forte for The Last Man on Earth. I mean, everyone knows that's my favorite show. It also got comedy directing and comedy writing nominations for the pilot. What's with so many ties? 8 people in supporting actress for comedy. 8.
That's the 2% rule. If the next one down the list comes within 2% of the bottom slot, they add them there.
And wow, Empire just got decimated.
I can't believe that. Greatest show on TV. We love trash, but it is definitely the bias against trashy TV. That's shocking. Riley is joining us. Okay, Riley, you're the king of Emmy stats. You're the king of noticing all those little tea leaves and how revealing and telling they are. What tea leaves did you see that were amazing today?
Well, Empire is not even the most nominated drama on Fox because Gotham has 4 nominations. So
wow.
That's how sad it is.
How many did Empire get?
It got 3. It got double costumes and Taraji, and that was it.
Wow. Music and lyrics, nothing?
Glee actually got into music and lyrics for the first time ever.
For Darren Criss? Wow.
Okay, take us through some more observations, Riley. Just run through your list. These are fascinating. So those are some things I didn't notice, for example.
What about The Last Man on Earth? It got writing, got directing, got lead actor, got editing, but no series. That's so sad for us.
They'll get it next year. They'll get the series next year.
Yeah.
We give Marcus so much grief here at Gold Derby about his love for Last Man on Earth, which is unfathomable to me and to many of us. But
No,
you are
that was the
vindicated
best
today,
show on
Marcus.
television this season.
Right.
Thank you,
You're
Riley.
both officially crazy. Go ahead, keep going, Riley.
I'd say comedy is Veep versus Transparent. I can't find anything that separates the two of them. Any other year, I think it's easy for Veep. But then this year, with opening it up, I'm not sure that voters responding well to the tapes will matter as much. So maybe something more dramatic like Transparent can pull through. Modern Family not only missed writing and directing, but also missed editing, which, at the Oscars, we all know how important that is. So that's huge. I don't think it has a chance at all. Name checking, I thought, was very much alive. There's Alan Alda on the blacklist. There's Mel Brooks playing himself. And then even somebody like Candy Alexander for Scandal. Last night I was going through thinking, like, who could be nominated for a guest actress? And I thought, oh, Candy Alexander, like, why hasn't she been nominated already? So I actually watched her episode, and she only has a 2-minute cameo. And that's what she's nominated for here.
That's the Ellen Burstyn bullshit, right? Where they, just
Marco
by name,
Martin.
Yeah,
Marco
Martin.
Martin. Right.
Yeah.
But Daniel said
The
she has
Emmys-
one scene at a table all year in The Americans.
Yeah, shame on you, Emmy voters, because Lois Smith from The Americans really deserved that slot.
The
Yeah,
Americans
actually-
deserve to get in for drama series. Better Call Saul did not deserve to get in for drama series. Yeah, Bob was good, but that show is a disappointment. It's still finding its way. There's a lot of promise to it, let's hope, but the payoff wasn't there. It's just basically about every episode's the same thing about how sleazy can this guy get and how further low can he sink. Meanwhile, The Americans was doing remarkable things, and we all thought, the pundit community, had thought that with Breaking Bad dominating and these other shows in there, True Detective was nominated last year, and we only had 6 slots. That maybe The Americans was that 7th or 8th ranked slot that could get in if only there was room. And this year, of course, we saw True Detective move out. We saw Breaking Bad drop out. We saw the addition of the 3rd slot. Orange is the New Black came in. So we knew that would take one of the positions. But there seemed to be 2 slots open, 2 chances for The Americans to break through, but it didn't get into either.
Yeah, they went back to Homeland.
They went back to Homeland. Right.
I mean,
Yeah, I
I
did
think the
get the
writers
writing.
watched The Americans, but nobody else did. You guys were mentioning Mad Men earlier. I don't think Mad Men has a chance because it's series.
What?
It's series finale misdirecting. There's no excuse for that.
Well, that's interesting. But Riley, you're based in Vancouver. There is an important just kind of buzz in the air factor to these things in Hollywood that you need to pay attention to. Ralph was saying a moment ago about how all the Mad Men nominations this morning at the press conference were being cheered by the media there, the Hollywood-based media, and that is a very typical example of the sentiment in this town, where people are actively rooting for that show. If people are lobbying. This is the rooting factor that is so important at Show Business Awards. So when you're sizing up your own thoughts, you have to take that into effect. That's why all of a sudden John Hamm, I believe, is the front runner, where in the past they were kind of voting on episode entries submitted on DVD better. We know that's going to be less this year because no DVDs, it's all streaming. They're opening up the voter base, and we don't know. That can only result in a more popular vote response. So as a result of that, John Hamm gets a better and better and better chance there. But there is a conspiracy in Hollywood to reward Mad Men generously now. The question is it prevalent, more prevalent and widespread than the Game of Thrones conspiracy, which that is overdue. It's a genre show, of course. Those tend to be cursed at the Emmys. But look, all the roles are off these days at these award shows anyway. And as they were at the Oscars when people finally got sick of the fact that fantasy wasn't winning the Oscars, and they finally gave Lord of the Rings its Oscars, but not until the 3rd time around. Of course, the first 2 installments lost. Game of Thrones has lost 4 times as drama series. But you need to be sensitive to these issues here because this is a peer group award where the industry is voting and the industry wants Mad Men to win very bad. I don't know by what numbers. I don't know which one I'm going for myself, but don't write it off.
And by the way, Elizabeth Moss came back this year. She was snubbed last year. That's huge. And also John Hamm got in and Christina Hendricks, but no guest stars.
Anyway, what else, Riley? Any more thoughts?
Well, I mean, like, yeah, Mad Men's doing better than it was like the last couple of years when it didn't win anything, but like they were falling over themselves to nominate Game of Thrones as much as they could. Like it has 4 cinematography nominations.
Wow.
It's got the double directing. It has Emilia Clarke coming back. I mean, yeah.
No, it's fascinating.
The hardest.
Are you saying, Tom, Jeff Daniels isn't going to win for the series final of the newsroom? That it's going to be too popular?
No,
too much of a popular vote?
The finale is pretty great, and he possibly could win with the old voting system. But let's finish that thought so everybody knows now. In the past, at the Emmys, if you were up for Best Drama Series, the last time Jeff Daniels won, there were 75 voters in that category. Remember, it has to be done by a peer group. The number of voters was limited. You could only vote twice in your own peer group categories and twice in program categories. It maxed out at 4. So if you take, 1,200 members or so of the acting branch of the Academy, and then you whittle that down to the number of people who volunteer to participate and make this time commitment, and then you whittle it down more by the category restrictions, aren't that many people deciding these races. So we saw Jeff Daniels pull off an amazing upset a couple years ago that we certainly didn't foretell, and to disastrous consequences for Jeff Daniels because his wife was following our odds closely. She had convinced him that he wasn't going to win. This is a story he told on Letterman's show. And so he was up there caught chewing his nicotine gum at the podium, and he screwed up his whole acceptance speech and the rest of it. And basically, it's those odds makers at Gold Derby's fault. And, Jeff, we accept that. However, we know that he won because his episode entry for the first year was so powerful. It was this big speech he makes on national TV. Now, he's got that emotional oomph for the finale, but the voting is different now. Now, every actor in the branch can vote for every voting category, and they don't really, they're not getting DVDs. They're supposed to watch all of the episode entries streamed online. Well, how many are going to do that? And even though they've just been given this Chromecast projection thing for their big TVs by those good friends at Google, I'm not sure how many are going to use it, or even if they do use it, how many episodes they're going to watch. So what we're all talking about here, behind the logic that you need to use to make your predictions, is that the vote results this year will be more popular-based than they normally would. There's less of a chance ever than a Jeff Daniels upset, in other words. Anyone else have observations about the new voting system?
I think if Kevin Spacey submits a finale, he's going to get it instead of John Hamm. Like, John Hamm can't even get in at SAG anymore.
Do you know what surprised me in wake of these nominations? How little we're talking about House of Cards. Like, this was the front runner to win Best Drama Series a couple of months ago, and now I think because of momentum, but also because of the nominations that have come out this morning, it really looks like a Mad Men Game of Thrones race, and I think this is partially due to the fact that a Netflix show is always going to find it hard because they're released a whole season in one day, and it's hard to keep that momentum sustained for a show. Like, Game of Thrones had 10 weeks of sustained articles and press and buzz. Mad Men had 7 weeks of people talking about the show. House of Cards had about 2 weeks of a very concentrated buzz. And now we've sort of, like, Mad Men and Game of Thrones and stuff's happened in between now and then, and it's sort of fallen off people's radars. And it seems like, surprisingly, like, Mad Men and Mad Men, a show that's like in its 7th season, is the cool show, and Game of Thrones, which is less surprisingly the cool show.
You know, for a while I thought Downton Abbey could maybe pull off a win, but it really, really didn't do too well. And I was banking on Hugh Bonneville, Michelle Dockery, Maggie Smith. They all got snubbed.
You know, House of Cards did get Michael Kelly in, so they did finally get a supporting nomination, which they hadn't before. So, you know, and I think he's got a strong chance to win if he submits that season premiere. He was great in it. It was all about him, and you know, I mean, so But my question is how pissed off do you guys think Netflix will be if Transparent wins a major Emmy award and Amazon Prime does before they do? I mean, I'm not even sure if Transparent can do it, Because like, isn't it kind of like Orange is the New Black was last year, where it's not really a comedy, but it has all of this buzz. It got all of these nominations in the comedy side. Everybody's thinking that it could, it could pull off a win, but then Orange last year got completely shut out of the major telecast there and won a few Emmys on the creative side. I mean, there are kind of parallels there, and it is a streaming show that I'm not really sure Transparent is as strong because of those parallels as it should be, but you guys can convince me otherwise. Anything but Veep I'm for.
Well, I was going to say, Ralph, that's a very good case for Veep.
Did you guys talk about Amy Poehler earlier before I came on?
Yeah, Parks and Rec got back in. Oh my God!
How exciting is that?
I'm convinced she's going to win. If she submits the Leslie and Ron episode, it's kind of like The Suitcase. It's her and Nick Offerman the whole 30 minutes. What's that?
Which lost for John Hamm and Elizabeth Moss. But go ahead.
Yeah. But they're like locked in an office, and it's just all the emotions. She's screaming, she's crying. She could beat Julie Louis-Dreyfus if she submits that one. And the show has more support than it's had in a very long time because it hasn't been in the comedy race for 3 years.
Or should Marcus she submit the Kyle Chandler tape, the final of Parks and Recreation? Should she submit her Suitcase or her the final which beat the Suitcase?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah. Oh man, like and I actually think with the popular vote, Amy Poehler's going to be helped here this year. With Parks and Rec getting back into the comedy series race means the show is more on the radar. I don't think it's strong enough to win Best Comedy Series for its final season, but that could help propel her to winning, especially if there gets to be a bit of awareness that she hasn't won yet for the show. If she can get into that John Hamm spot of, oh man, this is our last chance to award Amy. It could be a good year to give it, to not give it to Julia, because Julia's won the past 3 years, so it's not like there's an urgency to give it to her. I think Julia still has the edge, but I think Amy's in a really good spot, and they can always give it again to Julia next year.
What's going to happen to the Losers Party if John Hamm and Amy Poehler, the co-hosts of the Emmys Losers Party, are both winners and they're hosting the Losers Party? Oh my God! A new Hollywood tradition is screwed up.
And you know what's really revealing? The fact that they kicked out Jim Parsons because they know he's won so much. If that same mindset takes hold of the comedy actress category, we could see Julia lose this year.
And I think you guys are giving credit maybe to the wrong Amy, because you also have Amy Schumer in there. And talk about popular. She's got a film coming out. Remember what happened with Mike and Molly, McCarthy, the year that she had Bridesmaids come out. Amy Schumer, just her show, went from 1 nomination last year to 7 this year. I mean, that shows you kind of how much love she's got within, with Emmy voters right now. So I would not count her out in the slightest.
Is she hurt by the expanded, more popular sort of voting in the sense that she's somewhat more polarizing than Amy Poehler and Julie Louis-Dreyfus?
I think she's helped by it because no matter what tape she submits, she's probably going to be last based on that. So I think the popular vote can only help her.
Wow, what a crazy Emmys. Freak Show got so many nominations over
It's going to win, Marcus. It's going to win limited series.
Oh, you think so? Do you think Jessica Lange will win and Sarah Paulson? Those are the front runners, right?
No. Who else is out front? Isn't what's her name? Frances McDormand out front there? In terms of odds, but I think that it could do extremely well. Yeah.
Michael Chiklis was snubbed, which is strange, but Finn Wittrock got in, and Dennis O'Hare.
I'm just Olive Kitteridge did very well today. So it got lots of nominations, but on the other hand, I don't know. I think there's the assumptions we made earlier this Emmy season may not be as strong during Phase 2 voting. That's just my guess.
Well, they did drop American Horror Story from writing, but
they did. Oh, okay.
A bunch of other nominations, though.
Any final things? I've got to get over to the set of ET. Any final observations here?
It's going to be a really, really crazy next couple of months. I can't wait to see
We have
happens.
something to talk about, Marcus. Isn't this cool?
Yeah.
It's a real horse race suddenly. Okay. Anyway, thank you guys very much. Go back to work and bang out more and more insights for the site so people can read. Maybe we'll do some more of these chats in the next day or two. Meantime, thanks for these insights. Fantastic. We will reconvene soon.